New warning of all-out war for the first time. The mysterious and secretive nation.
There is nothing imminent, but these threatening statements have everyone on edge.
Are we on the brink of a nuclear war?
Ever since 2013, North Korea has been in the spotlight as a possible nuclear threat. President Donald Trump confirmed this in his 2018 State of the Union address.
North Korea's reckless pursuit of nuclear missiles could very soon threaten our homeland.
Many people are scared of North Korea, and for good reason. Their past is filled with violence and tyranny. So before we get to what North Korea is like today, let's first go through its history. After World War II, the Korean Peninsula was separated to 38th parallel. The northern section would be controlled by the Communist Soviet Union and the south by the United States. North Korea's capital would be known as Pyongyang. The North Korean flag consists of 2 blue stripes, 2 white stripes, a red stripe, and a red star. The 2 blue stripes represent peace, sovereignty, and friendship. The white stripes stand for purity. The red stripe signifies the Communist Revolution, and the red star is the recognized symbol of communism. In 1948, the Soviet Union appointed Kim Il-sung as the leader of the Korean Communist Party. From 1948 to 1950, North and South Korea both sent attacks over the 38th parallel. After President Truman removed all American combat troops from South Korea, North Korea launched an all-out attack on South Korea on June 25, 1950, marking the start of the Korean War. For the first few weeks of the invasion, North Korea seemed to be virtually unstoppable. That was until General MacArthur of the United States landed by boat far north of where the North Koreans had pushed to. MacArthur shocked the North Koreans and thousands retreated or surrendered. MacArthur pushed close to the Yalu River, which is also the North Korean border of China. President Truman stopped MacArthur's advance to lower China's suspicion that the UN coalition was just an American army. China then overpowered MacArthur with 1.2 million soldiers and pushed the South Korean/American effort right back to where the war started. The war went on as a stalemate until July 27, 1953, when both sides agreed to an armistice, ending the war. Let's fast forward to the mid-1990s. At this time, North Korea is facing an extreme famine. But even though the famine took place in the 90s, we can date the cause of the famine all the way back to 1948. North Korean farmland certainly wasn't the best for growing crops, but with the USSR providing cheap fuel and food, North Korea was able to overcome these issues. But as the USSR collapsed, so did the aid to North Korea. With the fall of North Korean aid, North Korea turned to the national policy of juche, or self-reliance. This was supposed to represent a North Korea that could do everything on their own.
This economy did not work. And when the Chinese and Russians stopped providing aid in the early 1990s, the North Korean economy essentially collapsed.
The regime was unable to adapt. They could no longer provide the food on which its people had depended. Famine was widespread. It is estimated that at least 500,000, and possibly as many as 3 million North Koreans starved to death.
Now let's take a look at modern-day North Korea. It seems that within the past few years, they've constantly been in the news as a nuclear threat. From 2006 to 2013, they announced 3 nuclear tests. Now, from 2012 and on, with Kim Jong-un being the leader of North Korea, there have been more and more missile and nuclear tests from North Korea. From 2013 to 2016, they had 3 more nuclear tests. When Donald Trump was elected to the presidency of the United States in 2016, he was told by Barack Obama that our biggest threat right now was North Korea. Once President Trump was sworn into the presidency, he almost immediately took a tough stance on North Korea, and he even started to call Kim Jong-un Little Rocket Man. Kim Jong-un seemed to respond pretty positively to Trump's words because he invited Trump to a summit in Singapore, and Trump accepted. The summit then went through an on-again, off-again kind of scheduling, but eventually it was decided the two would meet in Singapore on June 12, 2018. So far, the summit seems to have been a success. Both sides came to an agreement and signed off on it. North Korea will look to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula, and the United States will provide security guarantees to North Korea. The two leaders met again in Vietnam on February 27th and 28th of 2019. Kim Jong-un asked President Trump to lift all sanctions placed on North Korea. President Donald Trump refused Kim Jong-un's request, and the summit ultimately fell apart because of this disagreement. According to Donald Trump, his relations with Kim Jong-un are still very warm, and the summit was not left on a bad note. What will come from this relationship is still up for debate. Will it all end up sunshine and rainbows, or will we end up going to war? Nobody knows yet, but as of right now, things seem to be moving in the right direction.